Committee on Parole is called back to order. The time is 12:41. Our next case is Mr. Isaac Flott. Mr. Flott, if you would please introduce yourself and give us your DOC number.
My name is Isaac Flott, 349888.
Mr. Flott, let me explain our process to you. First, I'm going to read some information into the record, and then we're going to give those who have desired or who have indicated they wish to speak an opportunity to say whatever they'd like to say. You have here today in support your sister, Juanita Flott, and your wife, Letitia Flott, who will be here speaking on your behalf. After we have that hearing, you'll have an opportunity to make a statement to the board. Then the board will vote. Do you understand our process?
Yes, sir.
This is a matter of Isaac D. Flott, DOC number 349888. His date of birth is July the 11th of 1975. Well, happy birthday to you. Is today your birthday? Is it right? Well, happy birthday to you, sir.
Thank you.
He is a third-class felony offender. His parole eligibility date is October the 31st of 2021. He has an adjusted good time date of April the 26th of 2033, a full term date of September the 19th of 2040. He is currently serving a 41-year sentence on armed robbery and contraband. Is that information accurate, Mr. Flott?
Yes, sir, it is.
Mr. Flott, your case has been assigned to Ms. Bonnie Jackson. She will begin our interview process. Would you please answer any questions she might have?
Good afternoon, Mr. Flott, and happy birthday to you.
Thank you, ma'am.
How old are you, Mr. Flott?
48 as of today.
And how much time have you actually served in this case?
I served exactly 25 years of a 40-year sentence.
Okay. Because I was showing 23, but you say it's 25? Okay. So you were 23 when you were arrested for this offense?
Actually, I just turned 20 when I did the crime.
Okay. And you're a third offender. So what were your other two convictions for?
Other two convictions was contraband.
No. Contraband was, no. You're a third offender. So you have the armed robbery, you have a contraband, so you have to have another conviction to make you a third.
My juvenile conviction. Sorry,
No.
my juvenile.
Not your juvenile conviction wouldn't be on your offender class.
Then
We'll come back to that. I have to get to your. You had a possession of cocaine in 1995.
Yes, ma'am.
And you had a deferred sentence. You were placed on 3 years of probation. You performed poorly while under supervision, and you were you had your probation revoked in 1998. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So how old were you in 1995?
1995, I was fresh out of high school. I was confused as a young man back then.
We'll get to that. How old were you? How old were you when you picked up that charge?
How was I when I picked? How old I was? I believe I was what? 18, 19 years old at the time. 18, if I can get mad, if I can remember.
But you graduated from high school?
Yes, ma'am.
And what were your plans after graduation?
My point was work, trying to get a job. I was working. I wasn't trying. I had a job at the time, but I got caught up in the.
What kind of job did you have?
Cooking. I worked at Casa Millana.
Okay. And When did you start getting into trouble and why?
Hanging around the wrong dudes, my neighborhood.
You know, if I could just get those wrong dudes in here, because we just get the ones that hang with them. We don't ever get the wrong dudes, we just get the ones who hang with them.
Growing up, I grew up with a bunch of knuckleheads, so I got caught up in there with them.
But weren't there other people around you who were doing positive things? Surely there was somebody in your high school, somebody.
Yeah.
So why not choose them?
Well, it is, you're right. And I kind of trying to draw myself from them and went to the crowd that wasn't doing right.
Why do you
So I
think
was,
that?
ma'am,
Why do you think that was?
because they had and I wanted. I seen what they had and I know I couldn't get it with the crowd that was doing good. So I went to the crowd that had it. And you know, by me being young, not thinking, you're gonna go with the crowd that had it. And you know, like I said, I made poor decisions.
Okay, I'll accept that. So you got the cocaine charge, you got revoked, you went to prison, you got out of prison on that charge. What happened when you got out of prison?
Old habits stuck with me.
How long did you actually serve on that cocaine charge?
Oh, I think about 1.5 years.
Where did you
Yes.
serve? Where did you serve the time?
I served in the parish, Calcasieu Parish.
Right, so you never went to a DOC facility.
No, ma'am.
So you got out, and then what?
I did good, got a job. I was working at the time, but like I said, I was drawn back to the streets, to the people I hung around with. Cause I lived in that community where I was there every day with them. Even though I was still working, I still was drawn to them. So it kind of, you know, it showed me that I had to do a lot of hard work just to draw myself away from it. And I got caught up. I got drawn back into it.
Well, let's talk about the armed robbery. Because you committed the armed robbery by yourself.
Yes, ma'am.
You have any co-defendants, nobody else was participating in the robbery with you. So why were you committing this robbery? Tell us about what happened around the time of the robbery.
What happened at the time of the robbery was, like I said before, one of the things that I knew I couldn't get on my own, so I had to get the money to get it. And by me being around dudes that did robbery.
Stop right there. What kind of things did you want?
I mean, like cars, clothes, you know, just material things, just things I didn't have to do to get that. I could have worked to get it, but I decided not to do it.
Were you back on drugs?
Ma'am?
Were you using drugs?
No, ma'am.
Have
Never
you ever,
drunk.
have you ever used drugs?
No, ma'am.
So it was just, I guess, addiction to money.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So tell us about the day of the robbery. What'd you do?
Oh, staked out the place. Really, a friend of mine had did the robbery earlier that week, and I backdoored and I went and did it again.
So that particular business had been robbed twice?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, well, tell us what happened during the robbery that you committed.
Like I said, I staked out the place, I waited, I went in, I was scared. And when the woman was giving me the money, I had the gun at her, and accidentally, she grabbed my hand, and the gun went off.
Why would she grab your hand? Because when you told her to give you the money, she opened the register and was complying with your request to give you the money. So it doesn't sound like she would have grabbed your hand.
She did all that. As she was doing that, after she gave me all the money, like I said, I had the gun at her. But as she opened the register, she tried to grab the gun, my hand, and the gun went off the opposite direction.
Well, she said she got shot on the tip of her finger.
Effect. Yes, she did.
Said while removing the cash from the cash register, she was shot and hit the tip of her finger. What happened after that?
After that, I asked her was she's all right, and she didn't say nothing. So I took off and I ran.
What about the beer cooler?
Ma'am,
Beer cooler?
was there a cooler? Yes, there was.
Did you put her in the beer cooler?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. I ran.
And because she said that you forced her into the beer cooler before fleeing the scene.
I fled the scene, ma'am. After I asked her was she's all right, I just fled.
Well, let me ask you this, the person who robbed the store the first time, did they tell you what they did? Did they explain to you how they committed the robbery?
In so many words, they just said they went in there, they robbed them gunpoint and told them to open the safe and gave them the cash. And by him telling me that, we talking, I went and did the same thing. Not knowing the situation that I was gonna get myself into.
And how long after the robbery were you arrested?
A few weeks. I say about 3 to 4 weeks.
And you received a 40-year sentence, and then while you were incarcerated, you got a contraband charge that they actually took to court, and you ended up with a conviction for contraband. And the contraband was a cell phone?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell us about that. Why did you have a cell phone? How did you have a cell phone?
Well, be honest with you, ma'am, any person have cell phones, communicate with their families. I had a cell phone. I shouldn't have had a cell phone in the facility, which I had. And I paid for that. I shouldn't have had it, and I'm paying my dues for that. They gave me extra year and I spent time on the blocks for that.
Well, I guess I'm curious about that because we get a lot of people with disciplinary write-ups, cell phone, but they don't charge them in criminal court and it doesn't become a felony conviction. It's just, a write-up. So was there something about your conduct at that time in prison that made them go that extra step?
Probably because now that they doing it now, if you get caught with a cell phone in a facility now, they charge you. I mean, I don't know the exclusive things of it, but I got charged for it. I gave him a year for it.
Was that in 2019?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you also have Mojo with you?
Yes, ma'am, synthetic.
But I show that was your last write-up, 2019. And you had a total of 28 write-up, and that last one was in 2019. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, let's talk about your programming. You've done Living in Balance 1 and 2. You've done Pre-Release. You've done Thinking for a Change. What's CYR?
That's Cajun Rage, ma'am.
Okay, you're right. And you did that in 22. You did Pre-Release in 21. Have you done Victim Awareness?
We took that in pre-release.
That's a separate, it's a separate program from Victim Awareness. Why have you only taken a couple of programs since 2019? Why have you done more programming?
I have took, like I say, Rage and Cage. I took Job Life Skills, and now I'm taking Partners in Parenting right now.
You have children?
Yes, ma'am.
Many?
Yes, ma'am.
How many?
1.
How old?
32.
And you, boy or girl,
Boy,
have a relationship with your son?
yes, I do.
How often do you have communication with him?
Not that he grown, not often, but we talk. We have a strong bond.
Huh? Have you
We
ever
have
come, has he ever come to visit you?
Several times.
And I see that at one point you were president of the JC chapter.
Yes, ma'am. I'm vice president now.
Okay, tell me about your involvement in JC.
Well, like I said, I'm vice president. I am a cook, also a concession manager for the club. I have been a member since I've been in Allen.
And what has attracted you to JC?
The brotherhood.
Positive people?
Yes, ma'am. Positive people.
What other what's your job at the prison?
My job is I am a D-building orderly. I work for the wardens.
And what do you do?
Whatever they tell me to do.
Now,
Whatever it's,
I see that you lost 205 days of good time. Tell us about that.
that was for the write-up, the contraband. And I had just now got it back. I had got 120 days restored.
I did see that. I did see that. And did you go to extended lockdown?
I had went on extended lockdown for the write-up. Yes, ma'am, for the contraband.
How long were you there?
I was there, I believe, for like 9 months.
Would you learn from that experience?
Don't do it again.
Now, I'm looking at your the report from the ARDC specialist, and it says offender does have a history of substance abuse. He is eligible for substance abuse treatment and has completed both phases of living in balance. So that's what it says. Is that incorrect?
I took the class. I finished the class. That's what you asked before to have substance
Yeah, but
abuse.
in order to get in, living in balance is a substance abuse program or class. And that's how you, go ahead.
I request to take the class because I feel like something I need. This was the rest of the class I took. I took it because I like to know and learn from that.
Oh, but why would the ARD specialist, Ms. Harmon, say the offender does have a history of substance abuse? So you had to report it that you had some problems with substance abuse in the past.
I mean, probably marijuana as a child, as a kid, but that wasn't like no habit for me.
Well, my point is, did you ever tell them that you had issues with substance abuse?
I have told them yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I have told them I have smoked marijuana as a juvenile, as a young kid. And yes, I told her to put me in a class to learn my habits. But that wasn't, I'm not gonna say that ran my life.
Have you acquired any vocational skills?
Yes, ma'am.
Your
Job life,
what is it?
job life skills.
What
Job
is it?
life skills.
Right.
It's vocational class that teaches you computer skills. In other words, it shows you, it gets you ready for the world.
You know, some people get certifications in carpentry, in culinary. I mean, I'm talking, have you acquired any actual job skills during your incarceration?
Yes, I misunderstood. Yes, ma'am. I have picked up a few trades at Angola, pipe fitting, welding, shear operator, also coordinator. That is my passion. And also here, coordinator.
Do you cook at the, do you cook now?
Yes, ma'am.
You cook for the JC, but do you cook generally for the inmate population?
I also cook for the inmate population, I also cook for the faculty here.
Okay. And why are you so passionate about cooking?
My grandmother used to cook. My grandmother loved to cook and she taught me how to cook.
You any good at it?
I could say I have no complaints.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll find out from the staff. Okay. We'll find out about that from the staff.
Yes, ma'am.
So what's your transition to, if you were to be successful today, you've been in prison for 25 years. That's a long time. You went as a very young man and you're still a young man. So if you were to be successful, what's your plan going forward? Where would you live? Where would you work? Tell me those things.
First of all, I will go work for my auntie. She has houses that she wants to be rebuilt. That's my first task once I get home. I'm gonna live with my wife. We've been together since I was a teenager.
When did you get married? When did you get married? When did you get married?
We got married in Angola in 2012.
Okay.
I've been married ever since.
And she stuck with you all this time? And she stuck with you all this time?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So where does your wife live?
She stays in Lake Charles.
Okay, so you plan to go to Lake Charles, live with your wife, work for your aunt.
Yes, ma'am. Work also for my aunt, also give me a cooking job, ma'am.
All right. Board and staff, what can you tell us about Mr. Flott? And I also want to hear about that cooking.
Yes, ma'am, Jack. Well, let me start off by saying that he is a very good cook. He cooked for everybody sitting up here at this table right here. That's pretty much why I want everybody pretty much support on his behalf.
They all look well fed.
Ma'am, I've been here almost a year and a half, and Flott has been my only, pretty much all the entire time. I trust him closely working around my staff. Trust him close working around the other staff that's actually down the walk, and he's doing a real good job here. He really is. Really proud.
All right.
And you can sitting here at the table from all departments. They're here to support Flott, you know, on behalf of him actually doing a good job here at the facility.
Do y'all want to keep him?
Well, we'll talk about this.
You don't have to look back. They saying no. They saying no behind you.
Well, thank you, Mr. Flott. It was a pleasure talking to you. That's all I have, Ms. Mirabella.
Mr. Flott, let me just say, Judge Jackson and I were judges for a long time, and I know that every now and then there'd be someone that would come up wanting to get out of prison or out of jail on probation or revocation or something. And oftentimes the sheriff would say, well, you know, he's a real good cook and I'm not sure I want to let him out, Judge. So, but I hear they're not saying that. So that's a good thing for you. Now we're going to hear from your supporters. Let's hear from your sister, Miss Juanita Flott.
I'm Juanita.
Miss Flott, if you would introduce yourself and tell us what you'd like us to know about your brother.
Well, he's my brother. He's been my brother all of my life. Well, basically all of his life. He's good. And like he said, he is an awesome cook. He learned from my grandmother, which I couldn't learn from her or whatever. And like he said, he will have somewhere to stay, which is my sister-in-law, which is right here. And he will have somewhere to work. I work at Rouse's here in Lake Charles on Nelson Road. And as far as being a cook, we can go ahead and get him in the door and stuff because I'm assistant bakery manager there. So he has everything he needs as far as having employment and stuff like that. He has a very strong family support system, and all the negative things he's been done in the past, that is definitely past him, because I put a little weight on, so I think I can take him if he do something he don't have no business. So other than that, he's my heart, he's my everything, he's my best friend, even though he's not here, but he's everything to me, and I love him, and it's time for him to come home.
Thank you very much, Ms. Flott. He's very fortunate to have you as a sister.
Thank
How
you.
about Letitia Flott? You, Ms. Flott?
Yes, I'm his wife. I've been knowing Isaac for 25 years. I've been married to him for like 12 long years. 12 long years. He did some things when he was young, you know, as we all did things when we were young. And I have watched this man grow into a very beautiful man. He was already a beautiful man, but he learned from his mistakes. He learned from his mistakes. I don't know nobody who don't like him. He's a very good person, loving person. And I'm quite sure y'all gonna miss him, but it's time for him to come on home and cook for us. we hungry over here.
Thank you very
You
much.
know,
Ms.
but
Flott.
all to the side, you know, I had a near-death experience, and I need him. I don't want him, I need him.
Thank you, Ms. Flott. Mr. Flott, is there anything you'd like to say before the board votes?
Well, I would like to thank all the staff behind me, the wardens and all of them, for giving me the opportunity to show them that I can change. That I am a better man. And, you know, just thanking them, because without them, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. I'd probably be somewhere stuck in the blocks, but they showed me that there's a way that I can better myself, and I want to thank them for that.
Thank you, Mr. Flott. Panel ready to vote? Okay.
All right, Mr. Flott, there you go. I really enjoyed talking to you today. You did a very good interview. I was certainly impressed by what the warden had to say, and the fact that you have all of the staff members that you have surrounding you to be there to support you says a lot about you. You served 47 years, 25 years. You were a very young man when you went in. I think you've grown, I think you've matured, and I think you're ready. So my vote today would be to grant your early release with the conditions that you perform at least 4 hours of community service work with at-risk youth. And that you report to your parole officer weekly for the first 60 days.
Coming home.
Thank you. Ms. Wise?
All right, Isaac, I was at your hearing in December of 2021, and I just want to commend you how you kept your head down and you stayed focused on this day. So my vote is to grant as well for the reasons I already stated on the record, and I concur with the special conditions that's already been stated.
Mr. Flott, you have 2 days to grant your parole. You obviously have excellent comments by the warden and the staff. You have an excellent support system. My vote is likewise. Your conditions will be that you perform 4 hours of community service work for at-youth risk, and that you report to your probation officer, your parole officer weekly for the first 60 days, and of course, follow all of the recommendations and all the requirements of your parole. Good luck to you.
Thank you. Thank y'all. Thank y'all very much.
Good job.
Well,